Imagine standing in the middle of a road. No cars, no people, no sound except the wind moving through the trees. You scream as loud as you can, and nobody hears you. This might sound like the beginning of a horror movie, but in some parts of Germany, it's completely real. Germany is known for its busy cities like Berlin, Munich, and Hamburg, places packed with millions of people. But step away from those big cities, and you'll discover something surprising. Huge areas of the country are almost empty. Entire villages shrinking, abandoned farms, miles of forest with barely a soul in sight. Some of these places lost their populations after the fall of East Germany. Others were emptied by economic changes, aging populations, or simple isolation. And today, we are exploring 10 German states where you can travel for miles and barely see anyone. Let's begin. 1. Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. First on our list is Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, often considered the emptiest state in Germany. Located in the northeast along the Baltic Sea, this region is filled with lakes, farmland, and endless forests. It's home to the famous Müritz National Park, a massive protected area full of wetlands and wildlife. But here's the strange part. Some villages in the state have fewer than 100 residents. After German reunification in 1990, many young people moved west for jobs. Entire communities slowly faded away. Today, you can drive through rural Mecklenburg and toss farm after farm without seeing a single person. Locals even joke that there are more cows than people. 2. Brandenburg. Next is Brandenburg, the state that completely surrounds Berlin. You might think being next to the capital means it's crowded, but once you leave Berlin, everything changes. Brandenburg is filled with endless forests, lakes, and quiet countryside. In fact, parts of the state feel so empty that filmmakers sometimes use them as locations for post-apocalyptic movies. One of its most unique regions is the Spreewald Biosphere Reserve, where small villages sit along winding canals. Some homes can only be reached by boat, and at night, the silence can be almost eerie. 3. Saxony-Anhalt. Now, let's head to Saxony-Anhalt. This state has experienced one of the biggest population declines in Germany. After reunification, many factories closed, young workers left, and small towns began shrinking. Some villages here have lost more than half their population. Yet Saxony-Anhalt also holds beautiful landscapes like the Harz Mountains. These mountains are filled with deep forests, hidden hiking trails, and medieval towns. But step off the tourist paths, and you might not see another person all day. 4. Thuringia. Next, we visit Thuringia, often called the Green Heart of Germany. This state is famous for its dense forests and quiet mountain villages. The massive Thuringian forest stretches across the region like a green ocean. Here, you'll find hiking trails that run for hundreds of kilometers. Some areas are so isolated that phone signals disappear completely. And if you hike long enough, you might feel like you're the only person left in the country. 5. Schleswig-Holstein. Far in northern Germany lies Schleswig-Holstein. This state sits between two seas, the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. Large parts of it are flat marshland and farmland. But the real emptiness appears along the coast. The massive Waddenzee National Park contains enormous tidal flats that stretch for miles. During low tide, the sea disappears, revealing endless muddy plains. Standing there feels like being on another planet. Just wind, water, and silence. 6. Saarland. Next is Saarland, Germany's smallest state. Once famous for coal mining and heavy industry, many towns here declined after the mines closed. Today, parts of Saarland are quiet forest regions dotted with small villages. Some former mining towns are now surrounded by nature again. And when the fog rolls through the forests, the whole region can feel strangely deserted. 7. Rhineland-Palatinate. Then we move to Rhineland-Palatinate. This state is known for vineyards and castles along the Rhine River. But away from the tourist routes, huge areas are surprisingly empty. The Hunsrück region is filled with quiet valleys and forests. Some villages here have only a few hundred residents. And at night, the darkness is so deep that you can see thousands of stars. 8. Lower Saxony. Now let's visit Lower Saxony, one of the largest states in the country. Because of its size, it contains vast stretches of countryside. One of the most famous landscapes is the Lüneburg Heath. This wide purple heathland looks almost endless when it blooms in late summer. Walk through it long enough, and you might feel like civilization has disappeared completely. 9. Bavaria. Even Germany's largest and most populated state has huge empty areas. Welcome to Bavaria. While cities like Munich are packed with people, the Alpine regions are a different world. The stunning Berchtesgaden National Park is filled with mountains, forests, and remote valleys. Some hiking trails pass through areas where the nearest village is hours away. If you shout here, only the mountains will answer. 10. Baden-Württemberg. Finally, we arrive in Baden-Württemberg. This southwestern state is home to one of the most mysterious forests in Europe, the legendary Black Forest. For centuries, this forest inspired dark fairy tales and legends. And when you walk deep into its dense trees, it's easy to understand why. Some areas are so quiet that even the sound of your own footsteps feels loud. It's the kind of place where you could scream and nobody would hear you. Outro. Germany may look crowded on a map, but beyond the famous cities, there's another side of the country. A side filled with silent forests, forgotten villages, and endless landscapes. Places where nature slowly takes back what humans once built. And where the loudest sound you'll hear is your own voice echoing into the distance. So the next time you think Germany is packed with people, remember these hidden regions. Because somewhere out there, there's a road where you could stand in the middle, scream at the top of your lungs, and nobody would hear you.